Hi, this is Josh here at TechSpec, and in this quick tutorial, we're going to talk about adding themes to our Gmail inbox so it can look nice and pretty. So if we head over into this Gmail, you see that what we really have here is just sort of your standard theme Gmail inbox. It is configured in the sense that this is the tabbed inbox that includes all those different things, but that's not really a theme. So where do we go to get themes? Well, if you click on the gear, which is where all your settings is, you can jump right to themes, and we'll do that in a second. But if you come here to settings, you'll see that you have lots of different categories of settings, and the last one is themes, and right here it says set theme. Now you see you have a bunch of images here, and then you have some sort of color ones, and then you have high contrast, I think is supposed to be for people who have visual issues, and then you have some other pictures. So let's just take a look at a couple of them and see what the difference is. So if we set this seafoam and then click save and come back to our inbox, what we see is that the colors around the sidebar and the folder list and the Hangouts list down here are all changed, but and we see where we have a red email, we see a little bit of that transparency coming through, but nothing really terribly interesting or earth-shattering if you just don't want to look at white thing. Now you'll notice two sections of photographs. If we look at the pictures up at the top, say we're going to choose this mountains theme and click save, like that's a pretty picture of the mountains. Not sure where those are, it doesn't really matter, but it does give us an idea of what this theme is going to look like. And now we have a much better idea of exactly how transparent this is. We can still see it doesn't really reduce any of the functions. We'll see, but if we come back in here and go into theme, why are these pictures different up at the top? Well, let's pick here our Golden Gate Bridge one, and you'll notice when we choose this, we have some extra choices down here. So for example, we can apply where it says a text background. If I switch this to dark, which is personally what I prefer, I think it's a little easier on the eyes, you'll notice that my message list has gone dark behind me. So instead of white and gray, we have sort of this charcoal and a darker gray. You can still see the picture coming through on the sides. We also have this vignette effect, which will darken the corners. If you think looking over here towards your message list, if you feel like this is a little hard to read, where this gets a little lighter, we can come back into themes and we'll choose the same one. Only this time we'll apply a little bit of vignette, and it will make the corners and the edges just a little bit darker. I'm going to turn it up all the way so you can really see. So that makes this a little bit easier to see. There's also this blur effect in case things are a little too distracting. You can blur it. I'm not a huge fan of the blur effect because what ends up happening is you can't see the picture that you chose. So then there's this last one. So let's pick another theme that maybe is a little bit more, there you go, here's this. And see, this is really bright here on the left if we're looking at our folders list. Over on the side, a little bit hard to see. There's a perfect place where turning on the vignette effect maybe to about half makes it much, much easier to see and to use. Now the last thing here is if we click into My Photos, if you've been using Google Photos to store pictures, then you can add your own. And let's say, you know, I had this cool theme. That might not be a great one to use, but I had this great creek picture that I took and put it in Google Photos. Here's where that could come from, or if it were photos that I had used in like a Google Hangout or sent in a Google Hangout. And you can see you still make the creek out through the red messages. It's still easy to see. Again, I can come back in here and come into themes. And when I click it, switch the text background to dark and then save it. And I find this, you know, fits in with the theme a little bit better, a little bit easier to see. And did it add some functionality? Maybe not. But, you know, if you're staring at your email for large parts of your day, it is kind of a nice thing to be able to look at a nice picture and have it just customized just for you. So that's themes in the new Gmail, and happy Googling.